Hello dear students, we are going to discuss lesson 3 mechanisms of homeostasis in unit 1 the living systems. So if you look at this picture, the picture shows your body has control systems that keep its internal environment stable. So when we think about our body temperature, it is always the same. It always remains constant. Any changes in external factor in the environment will not change the internal temperature. So if anything cause changes in our body has to respond to this stimulus. And there is homeostasis in our body. So different responses will make sure that our body temperature stays the same. So what is homeostasis? Again, it is the regulation of the constant internal environment in the body. What is stimulus? It is anything from the internal or external environment that causes an imbalance in the internal conditions of a cell, organ system or organism. Hormones are the chemicals secreted in the bloodstream by ductless endocrine glands. What is feedback loop? The interaction between the receptor, the control center, and the effector is known as feedback loop. Use the homeostatic control system diagram to explain how shivering can help your body temperature return to normal. So if we are feeling cold, it means that our body temperature is getting below the normal temperature. So the shivering will enable more heat production in our body, and it will make sure that the constant body temperature stays the same. There are two types of control systems in organisms, the negative feedback loop and the positive feedback loop. The difference between both is the negative feedback causes imbalance in one direction, and it is detected by the receptor that send information to control center. A positive feedback makes adjustments in the same direction. So the difference here is the negative feedback, it causes the stimulus causes imbalance in one direction, but the positive feedback will keep the adjustments in the same direction as the stimulus. So both positive and negative feedback loops combine to maintain the homeostasis in the organisms. So here we have an example. The body rely on the positive and negative feedback loops. So what type of feedback loop return the body homeostasis when it becomes dehydrated? So for example, when we are staying in the hot environment outside and our body get dehydrated, again the stimulus from the external environment will enable us to feel more thirsty, which is the response, and it enable us to maintain the constant or the normal amount of water in our body. So it is the same like cause and effect. Another example, the blood pressure depends on how elastic and unblocked the arteries are at the strength of our heart contraction. So the less elastic arteries and the more blockage reduce the blood flow, and it becomes harder for the heart to pump this blood. So if a person has a high blood pressure or it is too low, how much the other organs in the body will be affected? So if the arteries are not able to pump the normal amount of blood, all our other body systems will be affected because they are not able to get enough oxygen and enough nutrients. So the circulatory system has three types of blood vessels, which we know as shown in the picture: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries are responsible to carry the oxygen-rich blood or the oxygenated blood away from the heart. Veins are responsible to take the blood vessels they carry the oxygen poor blood or deoxygenated blood back to the heart, which will be sent to the lungs for oxygenation. Capillaries are responsible to deliver oxygen directly to the cells, and they remove carbon dioxide. So the homeostatic mechanisms usually work more quickly, but sometimes a minor change in the environment can occur too rapidly or too great magnitude that the control feedback systems get activated. Any disruptions can happen for several reasons, including failure, our body is not able to respond to these stimuli from the environment, or maybe there are some serious injuries or disease causing agents. So in these are the cases when our body, they are not able to maintain homeostasis. Many of the homeostatic processes that we have learned in the human are the same in the other organisms as well. Like in plants, they take in carbon dioxide during the process of photosynthesis and release oxygen. This is a homeostatic mechanism of the regulating gas exchange. So the gases are exchanged through the structures called stomata. So here the feedback system will maintain the homeostasis in plants. As we can see, the roots growth of a plant in the right has been affected by drought. So when we say there is less water, the plants will grow their deep roots in order to maintain homeostasis. Not all feedback loops involve nerve impulses or hormones. When we think about thermoregulation, it maintains a stable body temperature under a variety of conditions. So the ectotherms, they become too cold so they move to the warmer environment. So in this way we say the ectotherms, they directly depend on the external environment. When they become too hot, they move to the cold or cooler environment. So this behavior will help them maintain homeostasis. So some of them, when they live in the watery environment, you might have seen that they have a strategy to maintain water and salt balances, like fish. When they maintain a salt water, fish swims into the river delta where the salt concentration is low than normal. This would disrupt their osmotic balance. So through the osmoregulation, they will be able to maintain the amount of water and salts in their body. So here we have what we have discussed. Why do you shiver when you have a fever? Is this response an example of positive or negative feedback? So you should remember the positive feedback, what is the meaning of positive feedback and what is the meaning of negative feedback. So based on your understanding, you can classify when a person shiver, is it positive feedback or negative feedback. Also, you can make a connection between stimulus, control center, set point, response and effectors. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the class. Thank you and have a good day.